my mom found me on the floor, and she's like, we need to go to the doctor and see what's going on. So we went. She took me to the doctor, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna conduct some tests, and he did. And then when he came back, he told me that you are in full-blown depression. And when he weighed me, I went from 105 pounds to 79 pounds. I was skin and bones. I'm gonna give you a prescription, and I want you to take this medicine. And I looked at him, because everything that I believed that I was against. And so he looked at me like, you're gonna take this. And I was like, I'm not gonna take it. And I told him, I remember I said, I'm not gonna take it. And he's like, why? Do you think that you're gonna get addicted to it? And I said, part of me believes I'm gonna get addicted, but the other part of me believes that there is a God that's gonna heal me. And I'm not gonna take it, because God is gonna heal me. And he looked at me like I was the craziest person. And he got even more mad, and he yelled at me, and he said, don't you know that I give you 3 months to live because of the way that you're going. You have 3 months to live. And when he said that, I started crying. The first miracle, I remember I was sick with asthma. My parents would take me to the emergency because sometimes I would have breathing attacks. And one night, on a Wednesday night, we had church. I didn't go to church, and because I was just so bad, I was so sick. I had inhalers, I had everything. And that night, nothing was working. The emergency inhaler that was supposed to work in seconds didn't work. And I just remember it was about 8:15, somewhere there at night, and I collapsed to the floor because I couldn't stop. So I started praying, God, to give me air to breathe, because I can't breathe. And my parents, they came home from church early, which was weird because their church service ran about 2 hours. So my mom said that she got a feeling like, go check on your daughter. And she went to the back, opened the door, and she saw me. I'm like, I can't breathe. And my parents, and at the time, my grandmother was living with us. And I remember they rushed to my bedroom. My grandma grabbed my ankles. My mom put her hand on my chest. My dad anointed me with oil. And my dad didn't make this long prayer. He just said, in the name of Jesus. And I remember the airways of the passages of my airways, they opened. I remember electricity shocks. And I used to receive healings from the flu or whatever, and you feel heat, right? But this one was different. This one was electricity shocks. They went pop, 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 pop. And when it got to where my lungs were and all that area, it went pop, 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 really fast. And I went, and it was like gone. And all I remember was the electricity slowed down when it got to my hips, and it went all the way to my toes, and it went pop, pop, pop. And the electricity didn't hurt me. And to me, what ran through my head was, God is so amazing, because He's gentle with you. He does not hurt you when He heals you. He mends it. And I remember the next day, I believed so much that I was healed that I grabbed my inhalers and I just threw them in the trash. I said, no more. And since that day forward, no more asthma. And I was like, I'm going to do it again until you heal me. I'm just going to worship you all the 10 hours of work because you're going to do it. Yes. And so I went to go grab a cup of coffee, but I was still very, very sad. And I went to go grab the cup of coffee. And this lady, it was 7 a.m, and this lady, she's a therapist. she came in to grab a cup of coffee with me, and she goes, I need to talk to you. Tuesday came, I heard that same song again. I passed by Wednesday I passed by, and I saw the door open to your office, and I was like, oh, it's Lillian singing. She goes, oh, it sounds so sweet, like it's so nice. She goes, and I sat at my desk, and that day I had a doctor's appointment. And she goes, I suffer from fibromyalgia. She said that, she goes, I started noticing that every time you would sing, like the pain was going away little by little. And she goes, on Thursday, I decided, no, she goes, Wednesday, I had patients to go see. And every time I would leave the office and I wouldn't hear the song, the pain would come back. And then she goes, Thursday, I decided I'm going to cancel all my appointments. And she was like praying, I hope she sings a song because I don't want to feel pain anymore. And she said that on Thursday, she canceled all her appointments with her patients. And she sat there hoping that I would sing. Sure enough, I was there. And I started singing my song. And she said that the pain would leave her body. The pain would leave my body. She goes, you would go out for a break. And the pain was coming back. And I was like, hurry up, come back to your desk. And I would come back to the desk, and then I started singing my song. And this whole time, I didn't know what was happening. I just knew, Lord, I'm going to worship you because you're going to heal me. It was about 18 months into it, and the depression was eating me up. Like I said, I lost a lot of weight. And I was still worshiping every day, still singing every day. But nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. And I got home late from work one night. My grandmother and my mom were in the living room. And I opened the door. And I saw my mom. And I just collapsed on the floor. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to die. And God is He's not going to heal me. It was a Monday night, and I remember because we didn't have anything going on at church. My mom grabbed the keys, and my mom said, the devil is a liar. He is not going to kill my baby. And she grabbed me, like she pulled me up like she could with her arms, and she took me in the car. And she goes, we're going to church because at that altar is where God answers. And it was an hour into the prayer. And my mom is like, okay, we already asked the Lord. That's enough. Now you're just going to worship him. And I looked at her like, I don't have any strength to worship her. And she goes, you are going to thank him for that he healed you already. You're just going to thank him. And all I could was, well, I have no choice. And I just remember I screamed to the Lord, like, I can't, heal me now. Like, I was just screaming. And then all of a sudden, I started clapping my hands. That's all I knew what to do. I've done it since I was a little girl. This is all I know how to do. I'm just going to worship you. And my mom said that she could feel the worship. So she ran back. And she's like, okay, God's ready now to heal you because you worshiped. And so she goes, we're both going to worship together. And we started praising God like if there was no tomorrow. And I remember the heaviness in my heart. Like there was silence. And then the heaviness in my heart just went poof, like it evaporated. And I opened my eyes. And Mom goes, did you feel that? She goes, I felt it. And I said, yes, I felt it. She goes, he healed you. And then we looked up. And there was a chandelier on the ceiling, and the chandelier went pop, pop, pop. It popped 3 times. And to me, the number 3 means complete, right? Spiritually. And I knew it. And I was like, I'm healed. That's it. No more. I felt light as a feather. And the Lord had healed me that night. And I always knew that worship was a way to get out of the rut, of the pit. But it's not until you experience it that you're like, it goes ding, it goes aha at that aha moment.